Right, people, welcome back to The Ripple Effect. I'm joined by Cams. Culture Cams is here.
Good to be
You
back.
good?
Yeah, man. I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing to be here, man.
On the best of moments, let's say, because we're going to get. I said to you, do we go through the Man United stuff or do we talk broader? And you were like, let's get this out the way.
Let's get it out the way.
Just get the pain out the way.
Yeah, man. Get it out the way, and then I'm warm onto the next one. You know what I mean?
Nice one, man. So what we're going to do is we're going to be ranking Man United departures, but they get progressively worse. So a big talking point has been what seems to happen with these players, where they leave and then do a little bit better. We'll get into that, and we've got a list of sort of the most painful ones, and I've got some tiers for you. So in terms of how I want you to rank them, I kind of want you to describe the level of pain of their departure. Okay.
Oh, departure. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think these players leaving and then doing well.
Yeah.
It's easy to have that hindsight of why did we let that person go?
Yeah.
And I think in some of these it's legitimate, but some of them it's not as well.
Yeah.
But I guess to provide the context before that, we have to talk about the present day and obviously the defeat against Brentford, which is not the first ever defeat by Man United of Brentford at Griffin Park. It's not Griffin Park, is it? Where is it? The Community Stadium now.
Yeah. G-Tech.
I think I've always had one of my sort of like theories is that, okay, losing and building pressure is one thing. People don't like losing to Brentford. Like if you're a manager under pressure, one, don't play Brentford because they'll be well drilled.
Yeah.
But like secondly, don't lose because the sort of media fallout is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Now, you from what I've seen, you were pretty early on Amarim.
Very early. Make sure you tell them that.
Another
Very
line I've got is, if you want to be right, be a pessimist.
No.
Is that
Do you know what? Do you know what?
What's your general... Describe yourself as a Man United fan. What one are you?
You know what? I'm very I'm in between. When I'm excited, I will lead an army of excitement. Like,
love that.
I make catchphrases, I make slogans. We're doing this together. Do you know what I mean? I'm telling you, every manager I have supported in the beginning heavily. But I am very quick, because when I watch the game, I try and watch it not in the lens of a Man United fan. Because tend to, because
Is that possible?
No, it's not possible. It's not possible when you're going through the motions. For example, Lyon game. There's no way I can sit there like, ooh. When it happened, I wasn't going to be like, well, I'm not happy with how the game
build up
went.
Here.
Yeah. You're buzzing. I'm going crazy, even though I know, like, okay, the game shouldn't have gone that way. But I tend to realise that opposition fans or rival fans are much quicker on the Man United situation than us fans.
The truth.
They're exactly the truth. So I try and like watch it kind of away, kind of like an analyst in a way. And I very quickly see patterns where I'm like, oh, okay. So then I kind of like warn the fan base, like, yo, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. And then, that's when everyone says, oh, you're a fake fan, blah, blah, blah. But I never want to be right with these type of things. Never, ever, ever, ever. Because like being happy, I haven't been happy as a Man United fan properly for over 10 years. Yeah. So I want to be buzzing.
Since Fergie, what's the happiest you've been?
Whew, I was thinking about this the other day, actually, when me and my boys were talking about it. I would say there's a few phases. When Jose came, initially, I was like, we're back. Like, Jose Mourinho, you crazy. So that was a good moment when he initially came. Ollie's interim period was, honestly... I think that might be up there. I think his interim period, before PSG. He signed the dotted line, PSG, like Cardiff, all them games, that was unbelievable. And then I would say Ten Hag's first season up until the Carabao, up before the 7-0 of Liverpool.
Right.
Up until the Carabao Cup win. There was a little moment in the season where I was like, we're in a title race here. Like, if we win our next game, we're going to be level with Arsenal. I was starting to believe, honestly. So I would say those moments, after lockdown was pretty cool as well, because we finished second with Ollie as well. There's been a few times where you're like buzzing, but it's just never enough, innit? It's just never enough.
I think this is a really good context to sort of highlight, because part of the desire to keep Amarim in the job, I think if you swap him before Mourinho, Like, he's gone, isn't he?
100%. And
the context is has saved him up to this point, probably.
I feel like other managers failing, has allowed him to get more time because, we're in that boat where it's like, well, you've sacked so many managers, so it's never worked. So why is this one going to work? But for me, that's not the mentality to have. And as you said, a lot of people were trying to say, oh, he's the worst manager since Moyes. He's way worse than David Moyes. Like, it's actually disrespectful to David Moyes that he's being bunched with Amarim in terms of results and how it's going at United. And I think with David Moyes anyway, I think he was in every single manager that's been in charge, I think he was in the toughest position.
Who had a better squad, David Moyes or
I would
Ruben Amorim?
probably say I would say David Moyes had a better squad. I mean, we just came off winning the title. Now, players were aging. Rio was old. Vidic was old. Evra was old. Giggs was old. Who else was there? Rooney was starting to get on. Van Persie. So it was an aging squad, but there was still like Nani, Chicharito and Carricks and stuff like that. So he definitely had a better squad. He had winners as well.
Because I think that's part of the part of the cycle here is that, like, first of all, a load of different managers, bringing in their guys. The pressure on those guys, we're gonna see like the relief of that pressure and what that provides in a second, and then the change of manager who always has so much pressure on them. Kind of understandably, because you saw what worked with Fergie, but in the modern game, that manager being given that much. Say in transfers and things like that has led to like the squad quality dropping and dropping. Less people want to come to you; they want to go to other places, and it's a sort of, you're swirling down a bit of a drain of quality. Because it's getting so kind of confused. And then, because this is the thing that's going to be weird if Amarim goes, is that it's October, November, December. It's the same period.
All
it
the
feels
time,
like there are these, and that's going to lead to a new manager coming in, not with the squad that he wants. So that's a bit of an excuse, and it's going to take time. And all those things, and you're just going to create the same cycle.
The thing is, I'm kind of like, look, I know one thing that I feel like nobody factors in when it comes to Man United or playing at the top level is the mental side. You just look at like on paper, you just look at the players, but mental side is different. So I don't want to use this comparison, but like you do look at David Moyes, you do look at Glasner, go into these clubs and instantly just getting a bit of stability and their teams are able to build from there. Because once you build a little bit of stability, everything else moves from there. And I think that's what Glasner did. That's what David Moyes did with Everton. Now, much bigger club, much bigger ask. But I do think sometimes it's a bit overblown that like a manager has to come in, need his own players, I don't think that necessarily has to be the case. I think good managers will walk in, stabilize the team, and then gradually start implementing their thing gradually. But the most important thing is you walk in and say, I want results. And I feel too many times.
But Amarim said that.
I think Amarim came in. I think Amarim, honestly, when I look back, because I listened to Amarim's press conferences initially and I was like excited for him. But when I look back, of course, he said the whole famous "we must suffer." But away from that, he was kind of telling us in a way like, if we lose, we lose. Like, as long as I implement my way of playing. But I wasn't really catching that at the time. Now I'm looking back at it and I'm like, to be fair, he's been saying that the whole time, we're going to lose, but it doesn't mean it's acceptable. You know what I mean? I need a manager to come in.
He said, we need to, I need to win. I need to come in and win. I'm sure he said that as well. But I think that's the thing. There's the sort of overcorrection. There could be a lot of overcorrections with managers. And with Ten Hag, it was like, I don't know what you're trying to do here. Right?
Yeah.
And so you brought in a guy who goes, he knows exactly what he's trying to do. But it feels like he's only got one kind of answer. And
the thing is, every top coach, Pep Guardiola, Jose, Fergie, everyone that you can name have tried different things. So that's the point where I'm like, it can't only be stemming from Amarim. It has to also be stemming from above as well, in terms of for him to just casually say, not even the Pope can make me change my format or my system. I'm like, I mean, to have the freedom to just say that and no pressure from above to be like, okay, slow down a little bit. It's crazy to me. So as much as I blame him, you've got to look above as well. Do you know what I mean? Because Pep Guardiola changes up. Yeah. Fergie changes up. Yeah. Like, I remember going to away games in Europe and Ferguson will play 4-5-1, 4-3-3, back to the Premier League 4-4-2. It doesn't matter. Like, and a lot of people are caught on the formation. It's the system. Glasner plays the same formation, but the system is completely different. He midfield progression, etc. So I just think there's a lot of arrogance coming from Amarim, but I also think he doesn't. Is
it arrogance, or is it? Do you think there's a bit? Yeah, often there's nothing wrong with faking it till you make it. Do you think it's that, an element of that?
I think it's an element of that.
I think I'm experienced. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Oh no! Like this is different.
I think he's afraid that if he switches up, he loses all sense of power that he has at this football club. Yeah. But management is about adapting. You know what I mean? Coaching is about adapting.
If he comes and goes right back for like change, true change, you'd be like, love that, good man. Right, let's stick with him now. I
will give him extra time. I would. I'll give him extra. If he says, look, boom, we go to Sunderland on the weekend.
How big's that?
And I think that's not looking good. I'm telling you, I'm looking at that Sunderland
team.
Every
game looks physical. Hard, doesn't it, when it's not going well?
Every game. They've got a good team, underrated team, you know. Like, you got Isidore up front, he's a problem. You got Mukiele, the new signing, Granit Xhaka.
That's great.
Granit Xhaka, these players start for Man United.
Siddiqui and Diarra, the way they set up, it gets the best. I think there's a phrase that people are chucking out there a lot, which is called platforming. Ultimately, it means like allowing players to do. I interacted with a tweet from Amir yesterday about it, and it sounds really obvious. And often, like on Twitter, everyone's trying to be like tactically like some of the language. It's just like relax.
Honestly, I'm off that.
It's a little bit too much. Yeah. But there's so much to learn. And it's great, and I read it all because I want to learn, right? But Amir put it in like quite simple terms, and it was. Some people go, yeah, I know that. Yeah. But I was like, this is a really good point. And the point was that, football is about getting players together and going, you don't like dribbling with it, do you? You come in, sit, and you pass the ball to the guy who loves to dribble.
100%.
And this guy wants to play with his back to goal. Cool, you play here.
Yep.
But we've got this really fast guy as well who wants to run in behind. Okay, well, you two play together.
Yep.
So that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
And I feel like, that's the thing for me with this. That I'm not sure we're just not seeing that.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of square pegs, round holes. You know what I mean? That's the thing with Amarim. And as you're saying, a lot of stuff that we do see at Sunday league level, grassroots level, etc., they do translate to the professional level. Exactly what you just said.
The game's getting simpler.
Exactly.
I promise
just
you, man. I'm seeing it right now. You saw it at the weekend. You saw it at Arsenal. And again, that's where I kind of winced at some of the sort of the tactical language at times, because it was like, essentially, what Arsenal kind of done a little bit, and I this is something I feel like is coming back into the game, is sort of a second striker, shadow striker, or two up top, really.
Yeah.
And you saw it with like Gyökeres is running in the channels, like being a bit bullish, laying it off, but you've already got another guy up there already in Eze to give you that chance to go and do that. So finding those different ways to do it is what's on paper now, or what's on the lineup when you see it. It's just not. It's kind of nonsense at this point.
No, it's all about roles, right? It's all about roles. A lot of times people think about positions and stuff, but it's your role in that position. For example, like Calafiori, he was a centre back at once upon a time, but at left back, he is an attacking left back. He's not an inverted left back. He's an attacking left back, doing what an attacking left back should do, overlapping. You're looking at Timber, solid on the other side, for example. And I think Arteta, his issue actually was similar in terms of not as extreme as Amarim's, but there was points where you're looking at like, are you kind of square peg, round holes as well? There was a bit of that, Havertz in the midfield. Declan Rice was almost playing at number 10 at some points in the season. Yeah. There was a little bit of question marks. You had like Moussa Skelly or Ben White. Some things were just not looking like it was the players in the right positions. But now he just simplified it again. The right back is the right back. The left back is the left back. Declan Rice is back in a pivot with Zubimendi. Eze in the 10, which he should be. It's very simple. So honestly, I feel like management is starting to become a bit too complicated. Way too complicated. But that comes down to data analysts. There's so much stuff that goes into why the game has gone more complicated. But as you're saying, it can just be simplified, man.
I think you can. I think you're right. There's just one question I want to ask you. So stay silent. We're talking about the squad, because that's the other thing. Like, how good is the squad? Because I think if you're looking at Amarim and you're trying to find the ifs and the buts about it all, you could suggest that the squad's, like we said, from that team that Fergie left and the squad there to the squad that you've got now, it has to be certainly worse or less proven, right? So stay silent,
okay,
until you hear a squad worse than Man United?
A squad worse.
Because you're talking about confidence, which I think is really like Carragher always says, it's never as bad as you think. It's never as good as you think. And the confidence can make you just turn you into a completely different player.
Facts.
Like we're working on a video now about Palace and United and that system, but how if you're playing with confidence and knowing what you're going to do, and often confidence and competence are very closely linked.
Yeah.
Because if I know where I've got to go, or I know I've got security behind me, then you will go and jump correctly or at the right time. And so that confidence is really important. And this Man United team is not high on confidence, right?
Yes.
And I think that Arsenal game initially, it was there was a bit of a reset.
Yeah, people.
And so everyone's thinking, I've seen it now. Watch them fly.
Yeah.
And a lot of us say it. Like I was like, I think this. Okay, I get it. I see it. Maybe go. But when it comes to those individual moments, you've got to score your penalties when you get them, and you've got to score goals. You've got to take your opportunities.
Yeah.
So the squad is kind of it's up in the air, and you know better than me because you obviously know you're a United fan. So Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, Man City, Chelsea. Where do I want to go? Newcastle, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace.
I think we have a better squad than Crystal Palace. Look, okay. Let me say, right, Villa are going through a bad moment. Forest, I think we have a better squad. The thing about Man United,
Forest got a good squad,
On paper, the squad isn't too bad on paper. But the thing is, right, for me, when I look at the Man United squad, is that just like how you said, like in terms of what Amir was saying, I don't think this United squad are very cohesive in any way. I don't feel our profiles match each other.
I don't think players are going where they want to go.
Yeah, the profiles don't match each other in terms of like, I don't think Bruno and Casemiro, for example, as a pairing, match at all. You both want to kind of go long at every opportunity. You're both very direct. You both don't want to keep the ball and retain it. So, yes, Bruno is a good player. Yes, Casemiro, he's actually revitalized himself a little bit. Yeah, you're a good player. But you don't mesh. You don't mesh well together. And I think that's
when all the parts around it don't help that.
Exactly. Like you look at Benjamin Sesko, for example. I'm looking at his game so far. I'm learning about him because I wasn't too familiar with him at Leipzig. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, how do you match Cunha's game? Cunha is a shoot-first player. Like Cunha doesn't really... You can see why he... Not why he was at Wolves, disrespectfully, but you can see why he was the hero at Wolves. He's very direct, just like a Bruno Fernandes. He likes to shoot. He doesn't have that passing element. So I'm like... But then you've got Sesko, who clearly likes to run in behind. Are you going to be getting them passes from Cunha? Do you know what I mean? Like, these are the question marks.
Is he even looking at you? Or is he looking at Mbeumo? He's trying to get it to Mbeumo.
And you got Mbeumo, who's now... Like him, he likes to cross the ball a lot, which is good for Sesko. But then again, he doesn't go byline. He just crosses from deep.
Yeah.
And then you've got Mazraoui, who doesn't overlap. So yeah, we're saying all these good names, but there's not a cohesive team. Whereas you look at Liverpool, maybe not any top team. Their right back matches with what the winger wants to. Look at Liverpool last season. Trent and Salah, clearly their games work together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? McAllister and Gravenberch's games work together. Now you got Szoboszlai, who's improved this season.
I think that's what they're struggling with a little bit, Liverpool, is exactly
in terms of control in the midfield you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. In the terms of like... So I was watching with the Premier League, we got this like tactical cam.
Yeah,
so you watch the whole game on the stats. Oh, it's amazing. And what was Konate's moment when Konate slips?
Yeah.
And Mateta or gives the ball away, and Mateta's in.
Yeah.
You might have seen it on the highlights, guys. But before that, there's a moment where Konate plays the ball to to Conor Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was Trent would have sort of opened up his body and gone boom, and Salah would have already gone.
Yes.
And it would have been a problem.
Yes.
Because the Palace line is naturally a little bit higher up because it's earlier in the phase of play. Bradley looked up and he saw Gay and Mitchell like surrounding Salah. And understandably, he's seen that and gone, well, I'm not Trent. I can't play that. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go back. And so Salah doesn't get the ball and Konate doesn't really want the ball.
Yeah.
And that leads to his kerfuffle.
Yeah.
And he slips and it goes from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's that balance is really, really important. And again, in the summer, we always go, okay, this should work because blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I make videos.
Yeah.
So some of these things should work. But what happens in time is that you go, okay, you're not comfortable.
Yeah.
And so that's where the tweaks and changes need to happen.
How often do we see this from England? Where we see players, now England obviously a lot higher level in terms of the player quality, but you see players and you think, okay, on paper, that just has to make sense. Foden in midfield with Jude and Rice has to make sense. But it doesn't make sense. Let's be honest. You need Adam Wharton. You need a Kobbie Mainoo, which he did in the Euros.
Yeah.
You need someone else. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need someone that's gonna match them profiles. Okay, Declan Rice can then be this bombing on forward player because you've got someone that can get the ball better in the first phase or calm the game down. Then Jude can be that attacking player. We see it all the time. We've seen it with Lampard and Gerrard of England. Like, it can happen even with the best players. Yeah. So imagine now when you bring the quality lower, it's going to look like a disaster. And that's the thing. Like, I think on paper...
And teams smell blood as well, because Man United is a big catch. It's always a big catch.
And as I was saying, like, for example, Mainoo, even if you bring in Mainoo and you have Casemiro and you have Bruno, there's no legs in that midfield. So again,
Mainoo... You've been clamouring for Mainoo to be playing, right?
100%. Like, I feel like he has to play.
But then how do you make it work? How do you make this work?
For me, I am saying, I don't know. The ceiling of Man United, regardless, isn't high. You know what I mean? Regardless if we sack Amarim and get a new manager, I'm looking at, I think we can be a top 8 team. Top 8, top 7 maybe.
Because I watched this video, it was talking about the managers that could take over if he was to make the change. And there's some really interesting issues that make it hard. So first of all, and this is often I think I said to Leah's here a couple of weeks ago, Carl Anker said this, a great point. He's like, whenever you talk about Man United, the manager always has to answer this question. It's like, when are we going to be good again?
Yep.
Right? But you don't go, name a team.
Yeah.
Like, if you think Arteta, if you think Klopp, even think Guardiola, it takes time.
Yep.
It takes seasons, right? So when it comes to managers coming in, the list of names I'm hearing is it's Xavi, it's Herzler, it's Glasner, it's Southgate.
Yeah, Iraola.
It's Iraola.
Yeah.
So all of them, I don't think even with a better squad to get them from here to here, it's going to take 2-3 seasons, right? So there's a sort of not an identity thing, but there's a problem with the idea of, like, how do you get them to be good again?
Yeah.
So of that list of names, you've also got other decisions to make, like bring in Xavi, so you're not playing this 3 at the back anymore, so you change from that. If you go with Glasner, you're doubling down on this 3 at the back, right? So is that who you are moving forward in terms of Man United? If you bring in Southgate, people don't like it, right? If you bring in Herzler, he's too inexperienced. If you bring in Iraola, he might be too cavalier. Yeah. So these problems are going to keep, like, you have to kind of get off your knees before you can get anywhere near that, unless there's someone that you're just like, wow, give this guy the keys. And I think the thing that is being forgotten in all of this is that essentially the style of play, the formation, the squad building, it's got nothing to do with the coach. Yeah. It should be just a known thing, essentially, of like, this is generally the blueprint of Man United. And so that you can plug and play different head coaches, so that, like, if these guys aren't getting the reaction that you need, you can fail a bit faster and go, because the problem, this is why you still got at the time, is that people are going, okay, you can have the keys. We are going to commit to you because of previous problems. Yeah. And it will be okay. We just need to give you time. If we just do the thing where if we behave well and give you the time, you'll be fine.
That's the Fergie aspect of things. That's the fact that we had Fergie and we had Matt, going all the way back, Matt Busby, who 2 figureheads who built this football
I think that's
club.
a really difficult thing.
Yes.
And because of that, there's such a onus on that manager. Whereas it really, if you look at Liverpool and the squad building that they have, or Man City, or Arsenal, I guess it's getting to that point as well, maybe slightly less so. It gets to a point, you have to get a manager to get so good that, okay, now you can have your say.
100%.
Instead of the other way around.
At Man United, we give managers, like, honestly, you get questioned about your loyalty to the club if you question the manager. It's insane. Like, I feel like we're the only club that are like that, where we have a manager on a pedestal above players, or nearly above honestly above ownership. Like we give managers because we had
the right intention though.
Yeah, it's
good
because
intention.
we had Sir Alex Ferguson though, and everybody grew up on, and as I said, Matt Busby as well. So you got two figureheads of the club. So managers have always been like idols for this club. But when you look at it, it shouldn't really be like that. And I do think that is where Man United have gone wrong over the years, especially with Erik Ten Hag, because his signings were crazy, in my opinion, right? So it went really bad with him. And I do think Ineos are trying to sort that out. I think this summer, Mbumo, I think Cunha, Sesko, I don't really think they were necessarily Amarim signings. I think they were just, we're going to sign them and you got to make it work type thing, because they are thinking about what you said, the progression in the future. If this manager goes, these guys need to be players that are going to be at Man United for years. Whereas you look at, as I said, Ten Hag signings, it was a bit different. But previous ownership wasn't like that. Previous ownership gave the keys to all the managers, and each manager picks some plugs who they want, and then they get sacked. And then you're like, we got to revitalize this, and it goes on and on. Jose Mourinho, first summer he came in, he basically started getting rid of everyone that LVG bought. You know what I mean? So it's a cycle, but I do think Ineos are trying to sort that out. If I'm going to give them any bit of credit, I do think they're trying to sort that out.
I think from what I've read about Danny Ratcliffe, or the thing I find is slightly odd here is this sort of there's a fail fast mentality that he supposedly has with a lot of his businesses. Now because of the principles of Man United, like you said there, I don't think that's what almost like hurting them a little bit. But again, if you have that clear structure of like, this is who we are, this is how we play, then it comes, you can go, if you can either fix it fast or fail fast. Either way, we can move on and get it moving in the right direction. But at the moment, they seem a bit like stunted by that.
I feel like they're not wanting to accept that they made a mistake. And it's weird because you accepted it. Well, maybe something happened behind closed doors that we don't know about, but you kind of accepted that, okay, maybe Dan Ashworth wasn't the right appointment. You got rid of him really quickly. Was that the right decision? We'll never know. Maybe it wasn't. Who knows? But then I feel like they're not trying to do this with Amarim because that's their first managerial appointment. And it was like, this is the beginning of the Ineos era. And then especially because the signs were there from last season, I feel like they're really trying to stick through, because then if you sack him now, we're all going to say, well, why didn't you sack him after the Europa final? And then it's going to look, a mistake is even bigger. But I think, listen, you're owners of a football club. Who cares? Do what you need to do. Fans are going to go in the direction you guys put us in, regardless. So for me, I think it has to be done. You saw Carragher speaking about it just the other day, and again, as I always say, I feel like rival or opposition fans and analysts look at it from an objective point of view, whereas we look at it from an emotional point of view. It's gone too far. Come on, it's gone too far.
You want to see it. You need. That's just the thing. Again, and this will be the cycle for the next guy. If the next guy comes in, if he does come in, and struggles, and what struggling is not having really clear shoots of hope, he will have used that like foundation of credit I was talking about with Graham Potter last week, and then the next 5 games of next season, it's the same thing. There's so much. That's the thing that's hard for him as well. There's so much pressure on him, but like make it about YouTube. In YouTube, and you'd go, I'm going to try this video, see if it works, and it really doesn't work. And then you go, well, no, but I really like this idea. I'm going to try it again, and it doesn't work. But there's series all up and down, loads of channels. They don't last. And you're better off stopping. Like you got to give it a bit of a chance. But I think the older I get, I'm kind of like. For me, I've always been like, am I seeing the right things? Is he been a little bit unfortunate here or there? Like for example, like the Arsenal-Newcastle game. Again, goals from set pieces. So if you want to base it on that, then fine. But there was a lot of other things that, if that breaks, if that breaks, I could see something. I'm struggling.
You're struggling to see it. Honestly, like, the thing is, other than the generic term of give him time, no one's really coming with hardcore reason as to why. They said to him, give him time. Arteta needed time. Give him time. We can't be looking at anomalies and thinking that's the norm. You know what I mean? So you do a great job analysing games, looking at things, working with Premier League, all this time, and you can't see something where it's like, you know what I mean? Other than the general, hey, just give him time. It's gonna.
I just think football's about answers.
time could genuinely mean a relegation battle.
Yeah.
It was nearly last season, so why not this season?
I agree. I just think football's about answers. Yeah, and this league this year, it's so physical, so quick. You don't need the ball for long to hurt teams, and
you've seen Sunderland's physicality.
Man.
Sunderland are physical, man.
All of them. That's why West Ham struggles.
A Ballard. Flipping out.
He's got a nice centre-back's head.
Bro, listen, he's ready for Old Trafford, I'm telling you.